And welcome to the Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for joining us. 844-236-6010 is our number on the Bright Side. We love hearing from you. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds, and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we want to hear from you. If you have a comment or success story you'd like to share, if you've heard or read something in the news and you want to share with us, 844-236-6010 is our number. We love hearing from you, 844-236-6010. We'll get your calls at the bottom of the hour, in our second segment. At the bottom of the hour, we have Dr. Mike Merrill on. His book is Why Do People Act That Way and What I Can Do About It? And we're going to talk about why America is so angry. And that'll come up at the bottom of the hour. Dr. Mike is a pastor and a very prolific author. He's got 24 books, Facebook page, and he's got some really insightful things to say. I purchased his book a couple of days ago, and I've been reading it. His book is Why Do People Act That Way? And what we can do about it. He talks about how emotions work, what emotions are, and we're going to specifically talk today about why America is so angry. And that'll come up at the bottom of the hour. We'll get your calls in our second segment, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. Or go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. We've got all the longevity products up at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And also, you can click on the Join the Team link if you want to sign up to join the Brightside Ben team. If you've been thinking about, or if you've thought in the past about starting a home-based business, there is no better time than the present. People are starting to understand how important nutritional supplementation is. This is a perfect time to become financially independent. No one knows what the future may hold in store for us in terms of our economy and in terms of our financial well-being as a country. Now is the time to take your health and your wealth challenges and health and wealth interest into your own hands. Start a home-based business, start a home-based nutritional supplement business by calling 866-735-2470. or clicking on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for healing wounds. Healing wounds equals beauty. That's the missing link in the beauty business, at least when it comes to topical skincare. Beauty is about health. Beauty is secondary to health. Health is primary when you address the health of the skin using internal strategies, of course, using nutritional supplements, as well as using topical nutritional supplements, which is what my Truth Skin Health products are. Anybody can have beautiful skin. Anybody can have healthy skin. TruthTreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, silicone, oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want. And many of our Truth Skin Health products are all up at TruthTreatments.com, TruthTreatments.com. All right, so I did my moment of truth today on vitamin D. Vitamin D has been in the news lately. By the way, our moments of truth are all up on our Facebook page, The Bright Side with Pharmacist Ben. I encourage you to follow us there. And then also the moments of truth get put up on criticalhealthnews.com. Thanks, Jonty, for doing that. They're a little delayed up there on criticalhealthnews.com, but they show up daily on our Facebook page, The Bright Side with Pharmacist Ben. Today I talked about vitamin D. Vitamin D has been in the news a lot, and if you just kind of don't know a lot about nutrition, but you just get your health information from the news, which present company excluded, of course, but a lot of Americans get their health information from the news, as silly as that may sound. If you're just getting your health information from NBC or ABC or CNN or Fox News, you probably have heard a lot about vitamin D. As far as vitamin D goes, vitamin D is important for the immune system. And yes, indeed, vitamin D is important for the immune system. But vitamin D is important for a lot of things. In fact, vitamin D is important for everything in the body that helps you cope with life. Vitamin D is your life-coping vitamin. Vitamin D is a summertime vitamin, and from an evolutionary biology perspective, the summertime is when most of our stresses occurred because we were out hunting and out foraging, and that's when we would get attacked by animals, and that's when we would get injured by plants or by bushes and trees and things falling on our heads, and we're out and about in the summertime, and vitamin D is a summertime vitamin. Vitamin D helps us manage stress. Vitamin D is cholesterol. A lot of times you'll hear nutritionists say, well, vitamin D comes from cholesterol, or vitamin D is derived from cholesterol. The way I look at it, that understates the relevance of cholesterol when it comes to health. Vitamin D is cholesterol. It's a little tweaked, okay? It's not exactly cholesterol. It's a little tweaked version of cholesterol. What that tells you, if you understand biochemistry even a little bit, it tells you that cholesterol is essentially a stress management molecule. Cholesterol is almost like a vitamin itself. That's how important cholesterol is. So when you hear people talking about vitamin D, when they mention the word vitamin D, in your head, you should have it translated as cholesterol. And that will give you an understanding of the incredible relevance of cholesterol for good health. And by corollary, the incredible stupidity of trying to pharmacologically poison the cholesterol manufacturing system with drugs. I'm not going to rip on doctors who do this because they're well-meaning and they go by statistics and they go by numbers, and there's probably a statistical basis for connecting cholesterol with various diseases. But as it turns out, cholesterol is a stress management molecule, and you lower it artificially, pharmacologically, by poison at your own risk. It's stupendously vital. Cholesterol is a precursor to all of our youth and stress and youth and repair and stress management hormones and molecules. All of these substances that come from cholesterol, they say they come from cholesterol, are really versions of cholesterol. Progesterone, and by the way, I have a topical progesterone product, and I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be hearing more and more, not just from me, more and more from the mainstream about the value of topical progesterone in the coming years. I'm predicting right now. Pregnenolone, DHEA, testosterone, estrogen, these are all versions of cholesterol, and the same is true about vitamin D, which is an activated, electrified version of cholesterol. The sun activates cholesterol. The sun turns on cholesterol. The sun electrifies cholesterol, and it becomes vitamin D. And almost every day we hear more and more about the latest thing that vitamin D is responsible for. Vitamin D helps with the digestive system. Vitamin D helps with the immune system. Vitamin D is important for the cognitive system for folks who are dealing with dementia or cognitive decline as they get older. And if you're thinking about using a supplement to get your vitamin D, well, you may want to try something else, because supplements are not the best way to get your vitamin D. You can get vitamin D from foods. It's mostly found in animal foods. Remember, vitamin D is not even a vitamin. It's a hormone. We call it vitamin D, but it's a hormone. The distinction between vitamins and hormones can be simply stated in this fashion. Vitamins help. Hormones activate. Vitamin D's assist chemistry. Hormones make chemistry happen. Hormones turn chemistry on. Vitamins help chemistry work, but hormones turn it on. Hormones work at the genetic level, at the chromosome level, especially the steroid hormones. The steroid hormones in particular turn genes on. They're epigenetic factors. And that makes vitamin D, which is a hormone, incredibly and singularly important in the world of nutrition. All right, we'll continue when we come back from our break and take your phone calls as well. 844-236-6010 is our number. Dr. Mike Merrill coming up at the bottom of the hour. Why do people act that way and what we can do about it? I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Mike Merrill coming up. Dr. Mike Merrill coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk about how emotions work. His book is Why Do People Act That Way? And what we can do about it. And why is America so angry? Americans are just not happy, according to a poll that a CNN poll, I think it is. Actually, this is a University of Chicago poll. It's been all over the news. 14% of Americans, just 14% of Americans say that they're happy, according to this poll. And it's not just about politics, and it's not just about the economy, and it's not just about the stuff that's going on in the world today. Although a mere 21% of Americans believe that the country is going in the right direction, according to the poll, and the vast majority say Americans are going in the wrong direction. You can't assume that situations and experiences and the things that are going on in the world are going to make you happy. That's the lesson here. That's the moral of the story, the way I look at it. You can't count on outside forces to take care of your inside needs. Happiness is an inside job. Something as simple as vitamin D can play an important role in controlling mood and helping ward off depression. And on my moment of truth today, I talked about using a sun lamp for depression. Just something like getting out in the sunshine can help improve your mood. Of course, today we're told we all have to stay inside and we've got to stay separate from each other. We've got to all wear masks. We can't watch each other's smile, and we can't see each other's moods. All of these have conspire to have a negative suppressant effect on happiness and on our mood. Getting out in the sun suppresses vitamin D. Vitamin D is associated with mood, with an elevated mood. Staying in the house, staying out of the sun, staying away from people is going to suppress your mood. If you want to be happy, you got to take care of it yourself. Happiness is an inside job. Health is an inside job. Taking care of our financial wellness is an inside job. And that's really the moral of the story of what's going on today in the world, is that we have to take care of our own health business, our own wealth business, our family's health business. We can't count on doctors. We can't count on outside forces. We can't count on authorities. We've all been dumbed down to the extent that we believe that outside forces and authorities will take care of our needs for us. It's not true. I'm going to have a conference call today with. I've been texting back and forth with a friend of mine who has a client or a friend or associate who's dealing with eczema all over her body, and she's very frustrated because dermatologists aren't helping her. Well, no kidding. Dermatologists can't help you if you have a skin problem. If you have eczema, a dermatologist is going to help you. And by the way, if you have a skin problem, you have a health problem. Make no mistake about it. Skin problems are not cosmetic issues. They're health issues. Eczema in particular is linked to problems with the cardiovascular system, with hypertension, with blood fat issues. From Harvard Health Publishing, heart disease risks common in people with eczema. No kidding. From WebMD, eczema linked to other health problems. If you understand how the body works, you understand that if you have eczema, you got a health challenge. Dermatologists can't help you. All they'll do is suppress your immune system. It's all you're going to get from a dermatologist. If you are crazy enough, try to be kind here, to go to a dermatologist for your eczema, don't complain when you don't get help. All you're going to get is a steroid cream. On the other hand, if you control what you eat and you make sure you're on your essential fatty acids, your ultimate EFA supplements, and you throw in a little zinc and selenium in addition to the Mighty 90 essential nutrients and some probiotics, you can take care of your eczema. You can take care of your psoriasis. You can take care of your acne. You can take care of your thinning skin. Even something as seemingly mundane and boring and common as dry skin is a health issue that can be addressed successfully using health strategies, but cannot be addressed by using moisturizers. Nothing makes me more angry than to have people selling skincare products or designing skincare products or marketing skincare products that know nothing about health. And the vast majority of us are purchasing those skincare products that have nothing to do with our health. That's why I started Truth Treatments, by the way, is so you could address the health of your skin by using fat-soluble vitamin C, by using polyelectrolytes topically, by using retinol, by not using preservatives, by not using emulsifiers and surfactants and other ingredients that are going to have a negative effect on the skin. This all boils down to taking care of our own health business, being our own health authorities. Authority comes from the word author. And when you let somebody else be your authority, you're letting them write your story for you. Does that sound good to anybody? And then we complain when we don't like the story. Oh, the doctor, how could he have been so silly? How could he have done that to me? How could he have taken out my gallbladder when all I really needed was to change the way I ate, or perhaps some ultimate enzymes and some lecithin and some apple cider vinegar? That's the moral of the story, and that's what my personal story is all about, is helping people understand how to be their own health authorities. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Mike Merrill coming up at the bottom of the hour. Let's hit the phones and welcome my friend and yours, Lydia from Ohio. What's up, Lydia? Nice to talk to you.
Oh, Ben, it's wonderful talking to you. I just wanted to let you know how grateful I am to you and your show.
Thank you.
And every day is just a blessing, truly a true blessing. But I wanted to say this. I'm calling to talk about this, and you, of course, can take over the conversation. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
No, I just want to say this, is that you inspired me at the beginning of the year to meditate, and I had great success in the beginning. Then I took that trip to Texas and California, and then it went like couldn't even meditate. But that was also due to the COVID crap that really was hard to deal with. I mean, that's difficult stuff. But
well, let me ask you this, Lee. What do you mean by meditate?
Sure.
What do you mean by meditation? What are you doing exactly?
Well, okay, what I'm doing is having my body still and just not, just listening. I'm listening to everything around me, but I'm objective of it. And what's happening is that I'm able to hear things about my life, or things just pop up. I mean, sure, I'm relaxed and I'm not in my body. I'm like just, and this is the experience that I have. And every time I do this, my life just moves smoothly. I have good things happening. And I mean, little simple things, but you know what? Those simple things make me happy, and those make me not be affected by the negative stuff that's happening in the world and around me. And yes, it's a fight, and I don't want that to be a fight, but I think this is important to discuss this stuff, because this is, look, we've learned from you how to take care of our bodies, and yes, we always need to be reminded. And I love hearing I love your passion about vitamin A. I mean, I could talk about Ben for hours about all the stuff.
No, you won't have any friends. You won't have any more friends. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well,
don't do that. Hey, we're going to run out of time, but let me just tell you one thing real quick.
Yeah.
Meditation is as simple as paying deep, and I mean deep attention to your experience. The experience of your breath, the experience of your butt sitting on the chair, the experience of your big toe, the experience of your grief, the experience of your thoughts, the experience of the ambient sounds or the ambient temperature or anything that's in your environment. Just paying deep attention to your experience, even paying deep attention to the experience of your thoughts. Not thinking, but paying attention to the experience of your thoughts. Just paying attention to the experience of your thoughts, or your experience, will drop you into what's called an alpha or a theta brain wave state, which is also known as the meditative state. And you can do it if there's a fire engine blaring its siren right next to you. You could do it when chaos is exploding all around you. All you have to do is pay attention to your experience, but pay deep, close, powerful attention to what you're experiencing in the moment. It's as simple as that. You'll go into an alpha/theta brainwave state, and the biochemistry of peace and wellness and healing will kick in immediately. Thanks, Lydia. You got to take a break. We're coming back with Dr. Mike Merrill right after this on The Bright Side. We are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and we're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on the archive page at brightsideben.com. We also have an archive page with a search engine at benfuchsarchives.com. Thank you to Peter in the UK for setting that one up. You can purchase your longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. We've got news stories, blog posts, videos, lots of great health information on our websites, especially criticalhealthnews.com. Thanks, Jonty, for doing that. We also have our True Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, silicone, oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our True Skin Health products, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for healing wounds. Healing wounds and beauty are the same biochemical mechanism. Health is beauty. Check out all our True Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. truthtreatments.com. I am super excited to have our guest on today. Dr. Mike Merrill is an author and a former youth pastor, or a senior pastor these days, and he's written a really cool book called Why Do People Act That Way and What We Can Do About It. I've been reading it now for the last few days. I purchased it on Kindle. I recommend you do as well. There's lots of great information in it about one of my favorite subjects, as you all know, which is emotions, and we're going to talk today about why America is so angry. Please welcome to The Bright Side, Dr. Mike Merrill. Hey, Mike.
Hi, how are you doing? Can you hear me well?
I hear you loud and clear, and it's a pleasure and an honor to talk to you. And I've got to tell you, your book, Why Do People Act That Way, and what can I do about it, available on Kindle as well as hard copy, is really, really educational and interesting. And I haven't bought the Audible book yet, but I think I'm going to do that as well so I can listen to it in the car. So thanks for doing that. And I want to talk about what you call the 5 basic emotional systems, which I found very fascinating. But before we get to that, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into taking a deep dive into emotions, and then I want you to answer the question why we're so angry, why America is so angry.
I have been a local church pastor for 45 years. When I began, I started working with youth. My philosophy was, if you want to manage the world, work with adults. If you want to change the world, work with youth.
Nice.
And as I ran camps and I did conferences, I did training, activities within my church and in the region as well, I found that many young people didn't have a good language base to describe what they were feeling as they moved from childhood into adolescence and then adulthood. They were not able to express clearly or accurately what they were feeling, why they were feeling it, and how to resolve it if it became complicated. I found also as teens became adults and I did weddings and they had children and they became part of my church, that adults also had, in essence, the same problem. There was so few words that were accurate to emotion, and it was all over the board. So I spent almost 10 years doing nothing but listening to people, how they phrased their inner workings, how they struggled at times to be able to put into language, how to be able to put into language what they were feeling. So the struggle then was to find something beyond psychology, which tends to put people into boxes, limiting them by a diagnosis or an analysis, and allow them much more freedom in being able to discover and then express what they were thinking, what they were feeling, and how to resolve that. Over that 10-year period, I began developing the concept that there are only really 5 core emotions, and the many words we use are variations of intensity between very mild, moderate, and extremely intense aspects of those 5 emotions. So as I developed the theory and practiced it out and did a lot of writing and teaching and training, I found that there was an incredibly strong response on the part of people in conflict, in marriage dissolution, in marriage preparation, in family life, in running businesses, that gravitated towards the 5 basic emotions concept and allowed people to develop some very effective tools to be able to discover their feelings, to be able to work with their feelings, and then to be able to resolve their feelings. So it really came out of that. It came from listening to many, many people of all ages and how they were trying to work through the process of their experience.
So when you talk about tools, am I to, just based on everything you said, am I to understand that naming these vague kind of abstract sort of sensations and feelings that we title emotions is a tool?
Language is certainly a significant tool. Some people think well using language structures. So when they contemplate something, or when they pray, or when they think through how to buy a car, or what to do next week, or what to have for dinner, there's a conversation going on in their mind, and they use words to do that. So sentences or structures or portions of sentences or even single words will be the means by which, the tools by which they think through and understand and then make decisions. But not everybody does that. There are people who use images or sensation or imagination. And so they're able to think in a very different way. One tool then is language, but another one is the concepts themselves that are not necessarily linked only to language, and that becomes a critical part of working with very young children or nonverbal people on the autism spectrum, or individuals who are experiencing dementia. Those kinds of things where there isn't language structure to be able to do that.
Now, how does this relate to what you call the 5 basic emotional systems? Actually, tell us what the 5 basic emotional systems are, and then tell us how all of that relates to these systems.
The 5 systems, as I understand them, I'll give you the language that I use in the broader sense, and then the specific words that help people, especially that are not introduced to this concept, to really understand it, at least at a basic level. The 5 words that I use are acceptance, exposure, empowerment, depletion, and celebration. Those are systems. Acceptance would be words that pertain to love, to liking, to preference, desire, addiction, craving, interest, those kinds of words. And it really has to do with drawing something towards myself or having it or consuming it. So if I like a certain kind of food, I'll pick that when it's available, but I'm not going to get really overwhelmed by that. If I love that food, I will always pick that food. If I'm craving that food, I'm going to do just about anything to be able to have it right now. And if I am obsessed with that food, my life becomes built around having it and consuming it. So the difference between craving and liking is intensity. It's not a different emotion. It's a difference of intensity. What am I willing to do?
Doc, we got to take a commercial break here. Hang on to that thought, because I definitely want to talk to you about that whole idea of acceptance and love. We're talking to Dr. Mike Merrill. His book is Why Do People Act That Way, and What Can I Do About It? You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Okay, we're back on The Bright Side talking to Dr. Mike Merrill. His book is Why Do People Act That Way, and What Can I Do About It? I purchased it on Kindle a few days ago. I've been reading it. It's very, very, very interesting and super helpful. Thank you so much, Mike. Before we went to break, you were talking about the 5 basic emotional systems. You were talking about love and some of the features of love. And you mentioned something really interesting, Mike. You talked about the intensity, that all the different types of love vary in intensity. Are you saying that my love for my mother is the same qualitatively as my love for spaghetti or Tuesday or vacation? Are they all the same kind of feeling?
We throw the word love around kind of freely in our culture. Not every culture does that, but the idea of embracing or pulling something towards yourself, the drive that is within you to draw it in is what acceptance emotions are all about. So you might say you love spaghetti, but your preference is spaghetti, or you like spaghetti, or something of that nature, where your mother, you have an honoring for her, you have a love for her. You still want to draw her close to you and be drawn close into relationship. It's really a different quality of the same emotion, where one is much more superficial or simplistic, the other is much more complicated or multifaceted. But we use the same word for both of them.
Okay, so we're going to run out of time, and I definitely want to get into why America is so angry. But real quickly, can you go over the other 4 emotions, or emotional systems?
The other 4 emotions, exposure has to do with fear, and it's a quest for safety and security. Empowerment is a desire for change. It includes anger and frustration and annoyance and rage. It's the desire to win. It is to dominate or control. The depletion is sadness, to rest, to recover, to deal with wound, to be able to restore what has been lost. And celebration is to shine, to share, to give out, to be thankful, to have gratitude, to pour out from your life as a result of what you're experiencing. So the variations from mild all the way through to very intense now become linked. Very important in the concept, extremely important to the essence, is that no emotion is automatically good, nor is it automatically bad. There is not a value on each one. They are neutral. It's what you do with them, what they do to you, is where the critical value comes in.
So fear isn't necessarily a bad thing, or anger isn't, or sadness. These aren't necessarily bad qualities to have or bad emotions to have. It's what you do with them. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely correct. And now we come to, why is America so angry? The question we often are immediately faced with is, we want to stop the anger. We don't want to be angry, because we assume anger is a bad emotion. I did, in my studying for my doctorate, I read many, many books. One of them was The Bad Emotions. It was titled that, and included in there, number 1, bad emotion was anger. The problem with that is, when a human being tries to eliminate or stifle all anger as if it's bad, it is impossible to do. It's a valid emotion. It is extremely important for bringing about change. So when anger begins to arise, when there is rage or competitiveness or drive or determination or forcefulness, all of those words have to do with an inner working to overcome something that is threatening or damaging or in some way destructive, in some way is an enemy or a competitor, to be able to find ways of winning and changing what is happening. So the feelings that go into that perception, we call anger. I call them empowerment. So now we can say, is your anger healthy for you? Is it effective for you, or is it destructive for you? Is it eating you alive? Is it boiling down to bitterness? Or are you able to actually become a new person because of these very intense feelings that you have right now? Now that becomes a positive outlet rather than merely let's stop the anger because we don't like it.
So when you ask the question, why is America so angry, I assume it's not, when you talk about that, why America is so angry, you're not referring to that anger in an empowerment sense, correct?
I am. No, I call it empowerment. The reality is that there are, let's say, two vastly major, unparalleled aspects of life today that's affecting virtually everyone in America, maybe even around the world. One is the racial issues that are pertaining to policing and power and use of power and justice and all those things that apply to social enterprise and social identity. The other is COVID-19 that has to do with our health and staying in your home and wearing a mask and changing what our expectation is of immediate health for ourselves, for our seniors, for our children. And we're trying to master those two massive issues. We're trying to dominate them. We're trying to control the outcome. We're trying to predict what is going to happen next, and we are not able to do so. There's not enough information, and the resolve has not yet been made apparent. So the feelings for that can be defeat. I'm done. I'm overwhelmed. I'm crushed. Or it can be fear. I'm frightened by that. I have got to find a safe place. I don't know where to turn right now. Or it can be anger. I'm going to beat this thing. I'm going to overcome. I'm going to dominate. So we have a variety of tools. Now, it also can be said that there are people that say, this is thrilling. This is better than a roller coaster. This is better than going out in the wilderness and getting lost. I love these things because it gets me something to sink my teeth into. So they're celebrating, they're thankful, they're grateful. And others would say, that's just insane. How can you be thankful for this? Well, it's in the makeup of, I love the thrill ride. I live for the things I can control, and I am delighted by that. So there's a wide variety of ways in which we can respond emotionally that then powers our motivations and our resources of life and pushes us towards behavior, either to activate or to disengage and stand on the sides. Because they're all connected.
It sounds to me like you're talking about choosing your response to what shows up rather than going into default. Is that right?
Yes, it can be. And that's part of what I teach. I teach one-on-one. I do consultations. I do seminars. We teach broadly and we teach specifically. The reality is that most people have conceded they cannot control their emotions. They just have them. The reality is that most people are very much in control of their emotions. So you have somebody who is screaming, ranting, and raving at their spouse, and all of a sudden their own mother walks in the room. Immediately, they're calm. Shut right up.
Yeah.
You say, how did you do that? Well, my mom walked in the room. Well, your mother's presence in the room, the human being there, is not really relevant. It's the way you see that person relative to your behavior, and you can take the emotion, calm it right down. We say that to children all the time. Use your words, calm yourself down, and that's a skill. So when you have the internal ability to manage, or the authority, I'll call it authority, to manage your emotions, now you can choose the best one for the moment and begin to activate using that as your energy to move forward.
That's awesome.
What I teach.
I love it. Now, if people want to get a hold of you personally, can they work you say you work one-on-one with folks. How can they do that?
drmike.com is the easiest way. Go there. There's a way of connecting in with me, and we can help individuals. We can do training. We do business stuff. We work with soldiers and PTSD. We do first responders. We do people who are victims, business people across the board. I have a partner that lives out in Washington State. We're devising training and doing online and in-person training all the time.
And all of this involves the 5 basic emotional systems. That's the core of your work?
It is. The 4 complexes are perceptions, which interact with our emotions, which interact with our motivations, and interact with our behaviors. And so looking at the full set of complexes of how people are experiencing life and reality gives them the tools to be able to say, here's where my challenges are, here's where my opportunities are, here's where my strengths are, here's where my weaknesses overwhelm me. Now can we do something about that? The answer is absolutely yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mike. Your website one more time?
drmike.com. I spell Mike with a Y.
M-Y-K-E.
MYKE.com.
drmike.com. His book is Why Do People Act That Way and What Can I Do About It? Get it on Kindle. It's a very interesting, fascinating, insightful, and helpful read. Thanks so much, Dr. Mike, for being on The Bright Side. Best of luck to you. And that's all the time we have for today on The Bright Side. Thanks for listening, friends. I am Pharmacist Ben. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to you later, folks. Bye for now.